aka Diz, and this is The Force Always.
Okay, so welcome to the show. Let's get on with the Star Wars news. Warwick Davis, who played Wicket the Ewok in Return of the Jedi, is hosting Star Wars Celebration 2019 in Chicago. That's right, Warwick Davis, who played Wicket the Ewok, is host of the 2019 Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. That's great news for the hardcore fans and the regular fans. To more news, Star Wars Episode 9 trailer could hit any day or any week right now, but more like it could be days away if the rumors are true, so just watch out for that. To more news, The Mandalorian, which is a Star Wars TV series, live action TV series coming to the Disney Plus network next year, late next year, has announced their composer. His name is, let me get this right, Ludwig Göransson. He's produced alongside Childish Gambino, people like that. Let's just hope he sticks to a more instrumental style rather than lyrical hip-hop sort of style. I love the hip-hop, as I've said, and I pursue myself, but you know, it'd be just great that it would be not so vocal anyway. So Ludwig Göransson is the Mandalorian composer. It's coming out next year, late next year on the Disney Plus network. Look out for that one, The Mandalorian. Anyway, to more news, and this is not really Star Wars related, but it's sort of like, you know, good versus bad type of thing. I've got a chance to see Bumblebee, the movie. It's just been released here in Australia. I'll be giving you a review of that later on in the show, so stick around for that. Anyway, so that's the Star Wars news for this time around. Let's get into the views. My views this time around is about Snoke. Now, as we all know by now, if you don't know, spoiler warning here, Snoke, who was the, you know, Mr. Evil, the big honcho, Snoke had died in The Last Jedi Episode 8. Look, it was an absolute shock to me when I saw that. I thought, oh my goodness, what are they doing with this character? We've hardly got to know this character, but he died. It was sort of fitting. At the same time, it was a bit too quick of an end, being for somehow so powerful. Should Snoke come back alive in some form for Episode 9? I'm going to say no. I was actually not very interested in the character itself, its look. You know, with the gold sort of robe, I think it was just a bit overdone. There was no sort of evilness besides his sort of skeletal type body and his face. That was okay. It was just not really something that was done correct, you know, proper. The Emperor to this day is, you know, really well done. Obviously, Darth Vader is really well done. Snoke shouldn't be rejuvenated, I think, for Episode 9. I'm wishing they are not going to put that inclusion within Episode 9. He's dead. Let's move on. Kylo's the man for now and see what happens with him. Well, that's another sort of views episode. But my story idea here is not to have him come back alive. That's what I would do. Anyway, so that's my views for this time around. We're going to now go to my reviews. My reviews is of Bumblebee, so stick around. Welcome to the review section of The Force Awakens. It's going to be about Bumblebee the movie. Let's get right into it. I've just drank the Kool-Aid. And I give the film 7.4 out of 10. I think the story is a little bit corny. It's a little bit flimsy in its story structure, but it's fun and it's real and it's enjoyable, and it's a really good film. But it just lacks a bit of structure, especially in the setup of the film. The music was really good. It actually suited more for Creed 2, if you ask me. A lot of 80s sort of feel. I think a lot of the references visually and musically and sound-wise wasn't right on point with Bumblebee. There was a couple of things that I noticed, just sort of expressions. But anyway, so I give 7.4 out of 10 for Bumblebee the movie. This is The Force Always. Okay, so that was the review for Bumblebee. It's now out in Australia. Let's get into interviews. Interviews is 2Q. That's 2 questions I asked myself for you guys out there. First question is, what can we learn? What can Star Wars learn about Bumblebee the movie? I think they can learn that keeping to that retro 80s style look to a film is great, even though it's a different type of film. You know, we're dealing with a more earthly like sort of 80s film compared to, you know, Star Wars, which is a made up universe, but it still has that 80s sort of feel. It's quite good, quite solid in that sort of technology. There's something forever about it. I think Star Wars can learn just to keep within that realm and explore sort of, you know, other stuff, but having that to be the front and center to its look. I think that sort of use future look, which is that 80s sort of look, which is what Lucas really came up with, is a solid structure. And Bumblebee the movie had lots of 80s feels to it, and I don't know, maybe because I grew up in the 80s, I feel it more, but I think it does give a solid structure to the look of the film, and that's what Star Wars can learn from Bumblebee, just sticking to a 80s sort of retro feel without being too much about saying we are from the 80s. But anyway, what can they not learn? I think the one of the areas that I thought Bumblebee sort of failed on is its setup. It's, you know, the setup of the film at the start of the film needs to carry you from the start to the end of the film, like really feel passionate about resolving or solving or just continuing the story from the start. Something needs to happen, and it really didn't happen in my liking in Bumblebee. It was a fantastic action sequence, fantastic visuals, basic idea, but I just didn't feel it. So I think with, you know, Episode 9, Star Wars needs to learn that it needs a setup, a solid setup to carry you from the start to the end of the film. The only film that has come out recently, has connected to recently, is Creed 2 was technically, you know, connected to Rocky 4. Rocky 4's setup of the film was immaculate. Like, it made you feel, it could have been a little bit corny, you know, the whole film, but still, it made you feel like you wanted that Drago gone. When you can have something that depth, that powerful in a film from the start to the end, and carries you from the start to the end, that's the journey of the story that should take place. That's what I think. So what can they not learn is not have a basic type of setup like Bumblebee did in the movie. Anyway, that's my 2 questions, 2Q interview questions for this time around. Look, go over to Patreon, The Force Always, patreon.com/The Force Always. You can support this channel. If not, subscribe to the channel, like, share, repeat the viewings if you like. Send me a question via Twitter or Instagram, even YouTube itself. My details are just here, just while I was doing all that. But anyway, until next time, and I'd say it will be just after Christmas, unless a trailer, Episode 9 trailer hits, or teaser or something like that, a name or something like that hits. If until that, Merry Christmas to you all, and until next time, keep rocking.